I'm here at this beautiful lakeside restaurant in Longwood, Florida called Enzo's by the Lake, where performers Natalie Cordone and Shawn Kilgore are set to take the stage this month for their latest show, Vegas Baby, Hits of the Headliners. These two have been performing together for years with tour stops in Washington, D.C., Miami, and Tampa, just to name a few. During our chat, the two talked about the concept of the show and how it came together, as well as the audience experience. They also opened up about what makes their relationship so special. Natalie and Shawn have been captivating audiences across the country with their live shows and beautifully blended voices.
Hey, a little less conversation, a little more action, please.
All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me. And I know that my heart will go on.
The award-winning duo's electric chemistry has expanded over a decade and continues to evolve with each new project. All right, so hi, Natalie.
Hi there.
Hi, Shawn.
Hello.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
So we're in Longwood, beautiful Longwood, Florida, at this lakeside restaurant. Tell us what made you choose this location as to have your show.
So we get to perform in a lot of performing arts centers. We perform with symphonies all over the country, but we've been doing our show Vegas Baby for the last year and a half. And so getting a chance to do it in all kinds of different spaces where we can bring our band and have people come and sing along and have a good time. And it's Florida. Everybody wants to be outside on a lake. I mean, isn't this like the perfect place to
It's one of the
come and have a
draws
good
that's why
time?
people come here. Yeah, exactly.
Plus they have a full bar. I mean, that's kind of important for our show too.
Listen, full bar, I'm there. Okay. So you two have been praised for your own screen chemistry, your individual vocals, but also how you sing together. But tell us, how did your relationship form to where you first met and all the way to now you're singing and performing shows together?
Absolutely. Well, we're both actors in the regional theater business up until the point that we met. So we were cast as husband and wife in a show together.
Interesting.
And so, yeah. And so that's how we met. And a lot of people commented on our chemistry in that show, thought we were really married in real life. And so it kind of just went from there, and we decided, hey, let's make something of this. Why don't we just keep working together? We didn't want to stop working together, so we created our own work and continued to do that. So we've developed, I don't even know how many shows.
Countless
It's
number of
been
shows.
over 12 years we've been going. And it's just been a wild and crazy ride, but it's been awesome.
Nice. So why musical theater? What drew you both to that particular artistic art form?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll start and then you can give it your answer. So, so we actually both wanted to be broadcast journalists when we were young, but we got but we got bit by the acting bug, obviously, along the way. And I started as a dancer, so I danced all the way through college and was in companies. And I started singing really late in my career. So I was in college when I first started singing, which for professional singers is like super old. But my first singing teacher said that I should sing opera. And so I did. I sang with the Orlando Opera when I was here. And I had then gone to grad school at UCF for acting in their theater department. So I went as a dancer, singer, actor, and eventually decided that I wanted to sing in English, which musical theater is the way to go. So after singing some Phantom of the Opera, which we still do, I decided that musical theater was like the perfect place for me to be able to do all the things that I love and to make people laugh, which is my like dream in life, is to make as many people laugh as is humanly possible. And this one makes me laugh every single day, so that really helps. But your path is a little different than mine.
I started actually singing at a very young age in church growing up, and my parents were very musical. My dad played guitar and sang. My mom was, did a lot of theater when she was in school. I just felt very drawn to it. She played a lot of show tunes when I was growing up, and so I latched onto that, right away. And she took me to see a play when I was in middle school. She took me to see the play, the musical that the high school was doing, and I said, "That's what I want to do." And so from that point on, I just auditioned for everything I could and did as much as I could, and then carried that on into college.
So also, it's speaking of that, Natalie, you co-founded a company, right? I want to make sure I get this name right for everyone. And it's the Connected Performer,
Correct.
Which is an online musical theater coaching studio.
Correct.
So what need were you seeing in the coaching space that made you decide I want to start something of my own?
It's a really good question. So when we started the Connected Performer, it was before the pandemic had hit. So we actually were in a place where I was touring all over the place. We were singing together a lot. And I had a lot of people coming and asking me for voice lessons, but I was never in one place long enough to set up a studio. So we started an online musical theater coaching company, knowing that people wanted to have lessons and people from all over the country, but couldn't be physically in one space. We started it such a long time ago that we had to teach people what Zoom was and teach them how to set up an account. And so we just were very lucky that, and then when the pandemic hit, everybody was in their bedrooms and wanted to sing and wanted to continue to express. These were professionals. We've worked with everyone from really wonderful high school students all the way through Broadway performers. And so getting a chance to share that way while I was still on the road was like a perfect marriage of getting to work and teach, both of which I love to do.
Of course. Okay, so tell us about the concept of the show and how it came about and why particularly Vegas.
It started for 8 years. We toured with a show we created called The Start of Something Big, the music of Steve and Edie, which was a tribute to Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet, who were very big stars back in the Sinatra era. And we wanted to create a show that could sort of reach a little bit, that could reach more people, that could be a little bit more broad. And so what we've created is a show that features every big star that you could think of, from the 70s, 80s, 90s. And so that was the goal, was to sort of make a show that would appeal to a broader audience scope.
So who are some of those people that you're speaking of that you cover that are maybe more mainstream?
Sure. So she does Cher, she does Celine Dion, we do Elvis in the show, Barry Manilow, Billy Joel,
Bette Midler, Dolly Parton,
Kenny Rogers.
Yeah.
So we have a little country section.
Shania Twain.
Brooks and Shania Twain we cover.
Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond is a big one.
Wayne Newton, because you have to cover Wayne Newton if you're going to do
It's
Vegas.
basically it's like 25 different artists,
Right.
Who have been significant on the Vegas scene.
Okay. And you usually do it in a bigger show. This is going to be more of an intimate space. So do you care to give us a tour of the intimate
Oh, we would
space?
love
let's
to.
do it.
And we're still bringing our band, which is pretty incredible in this intimate space. So yeah, let's go take a look.
Awesome. Please.
So tell us about the space and why you chose this area for your performance.
When we heard about the concert series that this place was doing, we just thought it was a perfect thing for us to be a part of. It is such a beautiful environment. When you come out here, you have a bar set up right here. So right as you come out the door, you can grab your drink right here.
Get them early.
Yeah, get them early.
That's right.
As they
We
come
actually
in.
have 2 signature cocktails that are coming for the show.
Okay.
So if you decide that you want to come and have the full Vegas experience, you can start right at the bar before the show even starts.
Okay, so what are those cocktails?
Well, you have to come to find out.
Oh, okay. So I can't get it all the way.
We do, though. I will give you one. The other one you have to come to find out. But the first one is the Coco Cabana.
Okay.
It's an espresso martini because,
An homage to Barry Manilow.
Right, with the Copacabana.
Copacabana in the show. So it's just a great thing to do, in Central Florida, to come out here. It's going to be hopefully a beautiful fall evening, October 13th.
Yep.
And there's different types of seating set up out here. So they have like theater section seating that they'll set up. The lawn area over there is awesome. Like, people can bring their own blankets and their own chairs and just, sit back and relax and enjoy the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some nicer, these Adirondack chairs, the rocking chairs is like the VIP section. And these tables and chairs down here that have a service that people can order their drinks and stuff that way.
Yeah, and the idea that you can come here, and Lake Ferry is such a beautiful location to use as the backdrop for our show, to get to come out and have people sing and dance along. You're outside, so you can feel like you're not going to bother anybody if you're screaming along the lyrics to, to Sweet Caroline or to Piano Man in the show.
Yeah, and that's the thing with this show. I mean, you will know every single song. Most likely you will know all of the words to every single song. You can sing along to everything and just have a good time and enjoy. It's basically, I like to think of it as like a hit parade. It's like hit song after hit song after hit song. And it's just a lot of fun. It's high energy,
Yeah,
good time.
and it's only a 60-minute show, so our shows vary in length depending on where we're doing them. And for this one, we wanted to be able to fit 2 shows into one night. We know we're going to have a lot of people come out. So to do a 60-minute set where you grab a drink, grab something from the Light Bite menu, have a seat, and then get to experience the show with a live band.
So what's the process like for putting a show like this together?
Oh, that's such a good question. What is the process like for putting a show like this together? It's funny because we've been producing together for such a long time that we will have people come to us and say like, oh, you should do this. Like it's easy to just kind of throw it together. It takes us about a year to put a show like this up from the first inception of what we're doing to actually doing it. Like when Shawn was talking earlier about the Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet show that we did, we actually had a residency in Vegas. And that was kind of when we started talking about how this might be a nice next step for us. And then it's about obviously picking the songs, making sure that the music comes first. Right. For us, we're always going to have a good time on stage no matter what we sing together. So we want to make sure that we're doing great live music that people know that they want to hear, but that also gets a chance to show off the fact that we're real singers who love to sing. And so we start making those lists, and then it's about making sure that we put a show together that flows, and then doing all of the marketing and all of the other elements that make it a real show.
Yeah, I would say that the song selection piece of it is huge, and that takes a long time. When we were putting together the Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet show, they had recorded 96 albums throughout their career. So we tried to listen and get our hands on as much of their material as possible. And same thing when putting together this show. We wanted to really find those songs that people connect with. So when you think of things like Sweet Caroline or Piano Man or My Heart Will Go On, which she knocks out of the park, you gotta wait till the end of the show for that, because that's, those things that people will really identify with, and they have their own memories attached to those songs.
That was going to be my next question, as far as like the song selection process of how do you know what to pick so that you're not leaving anything out?
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no way. Some people are going to be left out. Some things will be left out.
But to your best ability, you cover the gambit of what people know and what they might like and connect to.
Yes.
Yeah. And we do cover 25 or 26 artists in the show. And as we've done the show, we continue to add new songs. We have a bank of songs that probably won't make it into this performance, but will be in the one that we're doing 3 weeks before. So we pick and choose. We want to make sure we do enough up-tempo songs that people are having a good time and feeling like they're, out for a night out. But then we also kind of want to open it up and sing. I mean, we've both been we've sung with orchestras and been out singing professionally for a long time. So we want to get a chance to do that. And the other thing with this show that was really important to us is we don't do any impersonations. So I don't try to be Cher. I don't try to be Celine Dion. They are who they are. And we love them so much that to get to pay homage to them without pretending to be them is really what the tribute act is about. And that's like our lane for how we do these songs.
You're both experienced professionals and you performed many times over. Do you still get nervous at all before a show?
Yeah. I think if you don't get nervous, you're not doing it right. I think there has to be it gives you an edge, to be nervous. I think if you're not a little bit nervous, you're lacking something, or the performance will lack something. Being nervous, I think, keeps you zoned in. It keeps you focused. It keeps you
I think there's also like a fine line between being nervous and being excited. Yeah. And I think that for me, often I feel right before I walk on stage, I'm so excited to do what I do that it could feel like nerves if I didn't realize that this was the right place to be. And every time I'm on stage with Shawn, I know I'm in the right place at the right time doing what I was meant to do here.
I guess that's the really nice thing in this relationship, in this partnership. That the other person's got your back no matter what. So we can tell some stories about.
That's true. Yeah, we've had some good times on stage and off.
So what's your on stage routine right before you go on stage? Is there something that is there prayer? Is there meditation? What do you do right before you go on stage?
Oh, that's a really good question. For me, I do my own hair and makeup for the show, and it's kind of funny.
Me too.
Yeah. So on our social media, if you go take a look, there are a ton of photos of me in hair rollers, like in curlers with a baggie over them on my head. And there's something about sitting down at the makeup mirror and getting a chance to do your own face, or it almost feels like putting on warm paint. Like you're getting ready to do the thing. And then coming out, if we do have separate dressing rooms, which we're lucky enough these days we often get to have, getting to come together, and the two of us always spend just a couple of minutes kind of centering ourselves.
Take some deep breaths.
Yeah, yeah, and then getting a chance to go and see the band,
Right.
and like that's when we start to get pumped for the show. Yeah, for the like excitement of the show.
Yeah.
It takes us out of that calm space,
Right.
which is where I like to live the day of the show, and then like gets us amped up for the
Okay.
yeah.
So last question for you. So for anybody who has not seen the show before and they might find some interest and then decide that they want to come, how would you describe what their experience is going to be?
It's a great question. I think they're going to be able to relive memories that they have that are related to these songs. Like I said, these songs are, the hits from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So anyone that lives through those years, these are going to be songs that you're attached to.
Yeah.
So get ready to take a trip down memory lane, and to be, to enjoy some of your favorite songs and to sing along. I think, it's going to be a high energy, lots of fun. It's a beautiful environment, as you can see. It's just a great way to spend an evening. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a full experience, I think, too, here. It's not just a show. So from the minute you walk in, Enzo's is such a beautiful staple of Central Florida. And so if you haven't experienced Enzo's, getting to walk through the restaurant, see the history of the building, and then come out onto the patio where you can grab yourself a drink, grab yourself something to eat, and then sit, enjoy the view and your friends until we start. And then knowing that it is a full live band and real live music for an hour. I think the idea of hearing songs that you know and love, but done by a live band is something to really get amped and look forward to on a Sunday night.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. Congratulations.
you.
We look forward to seeing the show.
Oh, I can't wait to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You can catch Vegas Baby Hits of the Headliners on Sunday, October 13th at the Enzo by the Lake in Longwood, Florida. I'll see you there.